Hello and welcome to another tarot and energy reading from me, Botlhale Nompumelelo. I am here to give you a general reading for the collective, especially given that we have now crossed the threshold of these particular shifts that I had been speaking about in my previous readings. It's been a while since I did a collective reading just because of how intense these shifts were for me, but I'm now able to kind of settle into this new reality, this new timeline, this new dimension. And I'm just here to give you some foresights and a forecast of what to expect now that we have crossed the barrier to this new timeline. Don't mind my face, I just had a shower. It just looks very oily from the ointment. But let's just get into it, and I hope you enjoy. I'll leave details in the description of other platforms where you can access me, as well as details about how to book for a personal energy or tarot reading. Okay, so please don't mind the mic placement. It doesn't have a clip, so I can't put it on my gown, but I hope you can hear me clearly. So, this particular shift that we've experienced and we're still going through is a shift into a new timeline that, because of the work that we have done as individuals on a healing, self discovery, deconstruction journey, this is now the fruits of our labor where we're now witnessing the energetic and even physical realm now change because of that work. We worked to change ourselves, to strip all the layers of conditioning, of indoctrination, of shame, guilt, and fear about existing as ourselves. We stopped giving into that performance of justifying why we are here the way that we are. And now we're about to see the fruits of that labor from how much we really worked to shine as bright as we could, even amongst all the confusion, even amongst all the unknowns, even amongst all the conflict coming from maybe setting boundaries or just navigating life differently that stops leaving you susceptible to manipulation and being taken advantage of. We're now entering the realm where we can now stand in our own power and on our ground and really be convicted in the belief of ourselves and the trust in ourselves. So this new timeline is going to now reflect all that work. And not only that, it is now going to allow for, I guess, not necessarily a new identity, but more so a remembrance of the truest form of yourself. So it's not really an identity, rather, but a becoming. So let's see what Spirit has to say for us in terms of either what this particular shift means for the collective that I'm channeling, or the insights as to what to expect for the upcoming weeks or months as we navigate these transitions, as we, connect with our soul tribe, soul family, or just people who align with our particular visions, frequencies, projects. What can we expect from now having detached from these layers of control, manipulation, deception, illusion? What can you now do now that the real you is at the forefront of the conversation and is leading the direction in your life? Um, I don't know if I should let spirit speak for itself, or I should just pull the cards myself. I think I'll do a mixture of the two. Um, you might find that in this experience, as you strip off all these layers, as you pull down all these masks, and you just keep going and going and going, that you notice that you feel different, right? And that's obvious. It's going to happen once you interact in a different way. You're going to start feeling different internally because of how your nervous system is responding to these changes. Um, so you'll notice that you are much less able to react to conflict, right? I think before I even get into this message, I love that the Queen of Pentacles comes out because of what I'm trying to describe, which is the sense of calm, even amongst chaos, this sense of, you know, groundedness and collectedness, even when you are faced with conflict or confusion. You're now navigating that differently, the unknown. You're navigating it very much differently than you have ever been able to in your life. And this is because you're basically fully integrated now. There's no separation within you, or there's no fragmentation about who you are. You're whole, you are full, you're complete. And that doesn't mean before you weren't, it's more so you remembering just how full you are, right? The journey is not about necessarily fixing the problem, which is you thinking that you're broken, but it's rather you remembering that you were never broken to begin with. And you much rather um, integrating all of those parts that you hid in fear, in shame, in guilt about who you are. So let's see what the cards have to tell us. It looks great. It's a very fiery energy that I'm sensing, very passionate, very strong willed, very determined. Confirmation verb. So like I am a African spiritualist, so I believe that when I channel like this, if I burp, it is like not just confirmation, but it's more so one of my ancestors or guides who is leading this, that is alerting us of their presence. So please do not mind me if I burp. Just it's a confirmation that the channel is flowing. But I mean, yeah, the new beginnings are obvious, right? Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords. It's literally like this Ace of Wands and the Ace of Swords together. It's more like a clarity of um, spirit, but spirit in terms of energy. Spirit can be anything because spirit is everything. But in particular with wands and swords, it's more like an integration of your will, your ability to act with the information that you have, either about yourself, about the choice you want to make, or just some sort of truth that you're now being um, that's being revealed to you. So now the two are coming together and integrating, and it's very lovely for you because it allows you not only to be able to leave. This is the Eight of Cups, to leave the circumstance that you were attached to, that you felt like was keeping you in a state of dissatisfaction, boredom, apathy, right? Even if it just didn't seem as bad, like it may not have been lack, poverty, malnourishment, abandonment, like this with the Five of Pentacles. With this Four of Cups, it could have just been boredom, right? You just felt like you were uninspired. This is why this inspiration, this will to act, this desire to act is starting after you have left the place or the mindset or the situation, whatever it may be, that made you feel uninspired. It made you feel bored. Now that you've left that, some clarity is coming to you about either that situation or yourself. Just divine inspiration, divine confirmation, and clarity. And it brings you to this point, right? You have the Two of Wands. You also have the Knight of Wands, right? This is why I said the fiery, energetic, really passionate energy. And then you also have the Queen of Pentacles. So these three together show me that you're at a point where you now are able to feel grounded in the chaos, in the unknown, in the lack of really like a physical change around you. You're still able to ground yourself within your belief in yourself, within knowing that you trust yourself so much that you are capable of seeing, the world full of possibilities. And this Knight of Wands shows that you also have that kind of like a teenage, you know, childhood um, impulsivity and spontaneity to how you want to act. The divine clarity that came to you doesn't necessarily give you a plan, but it gives you the knowledge and the higher levels of wisdom with the Hierophant, the higher levels of wisdom to know that you can really succeed with whatever path that you're on because it's you that has the magic and the tools. It's you that has the abundance and the fertility and the wealth, right? And that doesn't mean you just go anywhere, but it does mean that even if you do end up anywhere, you are the constant in your life. You are the one that makes your reality thrive. It's not even to say that when you are in these situations that because it's because of you that you are able to thrive. It is to say that there's something that you in particular see or have or are able to do, or just in the way that you exist, that if those qualities within you are not nurtured, it reflects physically, right? So if you are a child who is gifted, who's bright, who's brilliant, It doesn't have to be academically. It can just be you have a particular talent that you you can do naturally, and if you are able to practice it or learn about it or cultivate it, then you like are explosive in your power. You if you're not nurtured in that when you're growing up, maybe people can be aware that you have this particular skill or gift, but they don't really nurture it. They don't really, care for you, allow you to explore it. Then you don't end up being able to radiate the particular essence or frequency that allows you to navigate the world, knowing that you are entering environments that cultivate your growth. Right. So if you're not nurtured as a kid, you don't go to places, or you don't have the knowledge of places that nurture you because you don't have the representation or the model in your childhood. So you don't have a real standard of like what your particular environment needs to be in order for you to thrive. So when you are in these spaces, when you were in these spaces before, it's not really that you are the person that caused your demise. It is just that you were never taught that you are allowed to seek out places that care, love, and protect you. And then you ended up in these situations with people, with obligations, with contracts that you didn't know you could negotiate according to your level of expertise or skill. You didn't know that you were able to stand in your power and be yourself and radiate, right? And maybe the places themselves also blocked you from doing that because of them deceiving you about your power or them dismissing your existence to begin with. So now it depends on how you choose to navigate this, but you're kind of now standing alone in your power, right? You have found this light within you, this light that has become your compass. This is the light that you use to navigate the world. And this is why I speak about the fact that it's not nurtured, then you don't know how to use it. You see, you don't know how to let it lead you and guide you to the places that make it shine even brighter, or shine in a way that nurtures and keeps you grounded, in this abundant, fertile, loving, caring energy. Now that you have found it within yourself, or you remembered it rather, and you are, able to see now who you are, what you're capable of, what you want, where you think it's best for you to grow, then you are standing alone in a very, very strong position with this lantern as the hermit, using that light to guide you, right? And I guess this is just a part of the picture in terms of where you are currently. You've left everything behind. You're not looking back, hopefully. You've left everything behind, and you are moving forward knowing that you have the world in your hands, right? And like I hope you can notice the reason why I emphasize you being alone in this power. In all these cards, it's just the one person, the hermit, alone. Then it's you walking alone, and then it's you now seeing the amount of possibilities awaiting you in this new timeline for you. And here again, it's you alone, it's you alone, and it's you alone, right? And this time, it's not even a bad thing. Because what you also recognize, I believe, or I assume from what is coming from this channel, is that in the places where you are guaranteed security through like other people, you are miserable. See, this is two people here in the Five of Pentacles, and then this cup is being handed by something or someone else. So what was being given to you through other people was not meeting your standard, was detrimental to your health, whether mental, physical, emotional, or spiritual, and it just did not align with who you want to be, who the real you that wants to surface is. But now you're alone, even if there are people around you, and you feel the best that you've ever felt, or you feel stronger, or you just, know more about you that makes you trust yourself more than you ever have. And I love this for you. I really genuinely do, because I see it in my own path. And I think it's amazing that I'm not the only one now, you know, usually it's very hard when you're miserable or when you're depressed or whatever it may be to hear that you're not alone because you feel alone, you feel terrible, but you also wouldn't want anybody else. At least I'm assuming you wouldn't want anybody else to feel what you're feeling, to go what you're going through. You know, but now when you realize that you are alone, you just are okay with it. You know, you don't hate yourself for it. You don't judge yourself for it. You don't shame yourself for it. And more than that, you might even be happy. You might even prefer it. You might even feel like it helps you maintain this new frequency. It doesn't mean that you will always be alone or that you have to, but you're at peace with yourself and you're okay with being alone. And I love that. So I'm going to continue with this because I'm nosy and I'm just going to get a few insights maybe on like how relationships with people are going to change or be affected by this. And, you know, what is in store for you when it comes to now how you navigate this change within you with other people. Is it going to make it easier or harder? Let's see what spirit has to tell us. So spirit, let us know how other relationships going to be going. Oh, hell yeah, hell yeah, baby. Oh, okay. I'm loving this. I'm loving this for you. Oops. Okay, so we've got the Ace of Pentacles as well. Page of Wands. We've got the Devil as well. So it's looking good. Oh hell yeah. We've also got the Star. Okay. I see where this is going. Um, yeah. I see. Seven of Swords. I see where this is going. Okay. Let me just finish. Letting spirit talk, letting spirit. Yep. Okay. Um, Knight of Cups. Oh, Five of Pentacles again. See what I said earlier about the misery because of people. Mm. And we got the Temperance. Okay, no. I kind of saw where it was going from the beginning. When the devil came out, I said, oh, yeah, no. So, like, what I'm getting from this, because I'm also seeing it in my own life. So, you are the Star and the Queen of Wands, right? The Star comes after the Tarot. The Star is a card of healing. And, like I said, about this idea of your light and you being able to shine bright, this is when the Star kind of forms after chaos, after, collapse, after just everything just crumbles, the reality just crumbles. And what is basically happening with the tower is not necessarily like a physical collapse. It's more like you see every time you sift through those layers, and you kind of strip them off, your body doesn't necessarily just register that the layers off. It actually has to collapse some of its internal systems that have been used to survive through that layer. That layer wasn't just like, an onion layer. It was kind of like a mixture of beliefs, of identities, of experiences and memories, right? So your body holds on to that as a system. So like when the tower happens, the system like collapses, it stops functioning, whatever it may be, or it is shut down through your own intention. You can also like consciously and intentionally collapse. This is what the shadow work is. This is what the journey is of deconstruction. It is intentionally collapsing and dismantling these systems within your body, right, through your nervous system as well. So then, what is actually happening when that rupture occurs is that is actually just like shedding off that layer from your light, your essence, your spirit, right? Think of yourself without your human body, whatever you think you may be without the human body. If you think you won't be anything, then I don't really know if we can have that conversation right now. But like, if you are of the belief that we are spirits having a human experience, then like yes, your spiritual self inside your body um, when those systems like collapse, that's what is left. That's what's left. Like obviously your physical body is still there, but in terms of how you feel sensations, you feel them through the spirit now as you keep going through that rupture. And so like the star is that spirit. The star is what comes after that. And then this Queen of Wands is like a current like articulation of that spirit, right? You are radiating and resonating as a queen and of fire, right? Which is very much pertinent or relevant to the current astrological transits that we are experiencing. Obviously, we just left Taurus. I mean, we just left Aries season. We're now in Taurus season, but there's still a lot of like fire energy present with Saturn now almost ending its Pisces season. Neptune is now in Aries. If we're talking particularly about like spiritual, right, terrain, spiritual infrastructure, spiritual landscapes, we're now in Aries because of Neptune. So this is how your spirit is now, attuning to the current spiritual landscape. You are now coming off as a fiery queen, princess, whatever you want to, identify with. This queen energy is not about gender. It's about presentation, about articulation, about expression. So like it's just a feminine fire presentation. So yeah, in terms of like how people are perceiving you, in terms of how you're engaging with people, you're very charismatic, very energetic or energized. It doesn't mean you're jumping all around the room, but you have a very visceral confidence that people are being able to sense off of you. You don't even have to say anything. You just radiate, you glow. You have a glow because of the light within you. Can you imagine? It's real. Believe it. Because as you keep going, it's going to be even harder to believe. But this is your work. That's what you did from deconstructing, right? From detaching yourself, from unshackling yourself from the chains of the systems of oppression. You did that. You put in that work, right? You saw this misery, you saw the deception, you saw the manipulation and the coercion into, suffering, and you refused because you know you're allowed to, and you know that you have to in order to be able to not only be yourself, but to be a good person or kind or loving to other people, right? And the universe isn't necessarily rewarding you in terms of like what you did was like, I want to say they're rewarding you for you, right? For you now accepting yourself. It's not it's now that idea coming into play about that light that I was saying is the tool that you use to navigate the world. So anything that that reflects back that light that you have, that that's an environment where you're supposed to be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So now that you are like so highly vibrational and like you have a high frequency, you emit so strongly the light within you just because you choose to be yourself and you radiate, right? The universe is now reflecting that back to you, right? So it's not really a reward in the sense that you're getting, the fruits of your labor specifically because you worked for it, but it's more so it's just showing you what has been there for you all along. It is showing you what has been meant for you this whole time. Under all those layers of shame, guilt, and fear, once you crossed past that fear, you found yourself and you found that there's just so much to give, and there's so much for the universe to give to you, right? And it will. It has to. It has to, and it will. You see, this is literally just here you go, here you go, and it's just gonna keep doing that. Here you go, here you go, here you go. So like, if it still feels like you're shackled, right? It's more so that it's like an echo. It's more that like your body still has the PTSD, which is why it would be important for you to maintain that grounded energy, that nurturing of your physical body, right? Because it still has the script of performing to be loved in its senses, right? Like it can sometimes feel like you wanna be able to predict that someone is going to judge you or shame you or make you feel like you're doing something wrong. That is just the echo, right? It's a ghost. It's not that it's not real. It's not gonna taint you the same way that it used to, right? You're no longer shackled by it. You don't see it as something that is gonna impact you and your future anymore. So when it's happening, it's just emotional flashbacks, right? But when you do experience it, you now stand in your power so strongly, right? That it's either people are just going to respond to you differently, or you are going to respond differently, and you're not going to be as afraid as you used to be because you made it out. You made it out of the on the other side of what people told you you wouldn't be able to overcome. And I love this. I love this for you. I love this for you so much. So you also now have Temperance, the Page of Wands, and the Knight of Cups, right? The way that I see this, it's the same idea as the universe giving you what you have been giving it, right? And reflecting back to you your light, your love, your joy. But this is through a person. So it might happen that a person offers you something sweet, compliments, just more sweet, nurturing, cute energy that just makes you more emotionally fulfilled or more emotionally validated. Just these energies of people kind of giving you love, but not kind of not too like drastic, or they're not going to use big gestures. It's just going to be the small things that you hear from strangers, or somebody says something like really vulnerable to you, but they tell you that they're proud of you, they've seen your journey. Those small things that just continue to lift you up or keep you at that high vibrational state as you keep going. And then the Page of Wands is also like, with this now energy that you're in, that you're radiating, this level of spontaneity, courage, the childlike bravery to now go for whatever it is. You have now the Knight and the Page of Wands. Previously, you had the Knight of Wands talking about that will, that active energy that wants to act, that wants to move, the passion, right? Including the Page of Wands, they might even be a creative project that you're embarking on, not necessarily for money or anything, but as a form of expression, as a form of exploration, discovery, expansion. That's what it's looking like. This creativity is now oozing out of you. It is more like it's like finding a way to express itself through you. That's the fire. So it's kind of like not necessarily a suggestion. I think more this would be like different from the mastering that the magician in the deck does, but I think this is kind of like a mastery that you've cultivated from what you've done for yourself, and that's going to help you be able to navigate this. So temperance normally means moderation, balance, and all that, but I'm looking at it as mastery, right? So like, because you know yourself this much, right? And you're so confident, you're so brave, you're so convicted, nothing is going to stop you, right? You're now at a level of mastery where you have all these elements within you, you have all these skills, you have all these passions that you even know how to use the different ones together, right? You can write and you can speak, so you write a lot of things that you're going to speak, things like that. Like when you now master, all of this, and then also still your emotions. The flashbacks are still going to be there, but now you have different tools to work with. So it gives the energy of the magician, but it's more um, not from the point of creation necessarily, but from the point of stabilizing. Yeah, I think that's the difference. With temperance, it's tempering, so it's stabilizing, whereas the magician is creating, so it relies more on magic, where this is relying more on the tools that you have to ground yourself and to just center yourself into your position in the timeline that we're in. Um, do you want me to go further? I want to go further. You let me know. I'm gonna go further just because I'm nosy. Simply because I am nosy. So yeah, the moral of the story for this part, in terms of how you're gonna navigate relationships moving forward, I think it's just this. It's now where you're just like keen on expressing yourself, on you know telling people your story, sharing your truth, but two things are happening at the same time. You want to now, like, be the real you, right? Just like be in that existence now where you don't feel afraid or ashamed. You just want to be in a very passionate way, not even from exhaustion, but from the energy of feeling free. And then you have people that are coming toward you with offers, right? Romantic, platonic, just like emotionally sustaining or uplifting ones. And then also like actual offers, opportunities, or just support, right? Like there's just a lot of people navigating. And drawn to you at this current moment. And you might even be doing it intentionally, right? But regardless of whether you did it intentionally or not, it is happening. And the fact that you are so whole and centered within yourself that you don't even maybe feel like you need this is what makes it more potent, where you do recognize that because of your ability to master and also be the magician. I'm strongly feeling like you're at that level of being able to manifest your entire reality. You're not even leaning into hyper independence per se. It's more than that. It's more like recognizing your power very, very strongly. And so other people also doing that and then wanting some of it in a very like community oriented way, not just to extract, because obviously they are going to be those people. We know them, but you're no longer resonating the same way to them, so they can't just do it now. Like you're too strong for them, you're too powerful for them. Your light really shines too bright that it kind of burns them. It doesn't even blind them; it just burns. Maybe not them per se, but like their intentions and their energy. It just burns it. You don't even get to touch, or come near you. So you're so strong. Not even in a hey man, you know how these people will tell you, especially if you're a black woman, that like you're so strong, and they actually mean like you can just put up with so much and not break. No, your strength is in the softness, it's in the authenticity, it's in the ability to retain your humanity. It's not from how much you can take, it's from how much you allow yourself to give. If you can't give anything, you don't give anything, right? It's those boundaries that you have with yourself because you know your essence. That's what makes you strong. And it's showing. And people want to know how you did that. Or they want to know how, they can work with you because they know they can rely on you. They know that you have all these like brilliant things to offer and you should be compensated for it. People are gonna love you. You're a star. Okay, okay. I want to go forward with the tarot because I love tarot. It's such a story. The tea. I still have this that I'm gonna use. So like, let me check. I have to routinely check my mic because I haven't charged it. So like, it could just die, and then I end up losing half of the video. Okay, what can I ask? I'm so nosy. I said people. I said what the current energy is. I think for now, I'll just pull a few cards just to ask like, how do you maintain this energy? So since this is where you are now, since you're in the new timeline and you're not going back, what would be the best way to really like ensure that this energy anchors within you and rests, right? Of course, it's not going to just leave like that. Like the way that you've been able to do this up until this point means that you've shed off so many layers that you can't actually just put them back on. You've really reprogrammed yourself. So it's more a question of like which situations allow that programming to activate, consistently. What type of energy is, what type of people, what can you do on your side to allow the programming to stay active? Yeah. It's also kind of a question of like what's in store for you in this future now that you've entered this timeline, or where you're going to be in maybe like 6 months from now, something like that. And what is it going to take for you to maintain this in this next 6 months? Because I can guarantee you that, when changes like this happen, the changes kind of unfold. You go through the internal drastic shift, but like it still unfolds for a few months or so until it stabilizes. You do have the tools to be able to carry through with that. But I just want to know what energies in particular would assist you with that. Because I don't like to do those like normal questions of like, oh, what's your love life looking like? Or what's your career and finances looking like? I like tea, I like juice, I like philosophical questions. I like excellent philosophical questions, because I want really like detail. Ooh, oh, girl. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. So the tea is piping. The tea is sweet. They might have added a little honey in there, but she good. She good. She good. I love her. Okay, you wanna see? Okay, okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Um. So, uh, I showed you the death card, right? That was the first card that came out, and it basically said like, "Girl, expect some changes. Like it's a whole new world, a whole new world." Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also the Little Mermaid might be like a sign, also, right? It may be that you work with water spirits. You might have like a mermaid entity that's reaching out to you in these coming months, or just taking an interest in you. But then the storyline of a Little Mermaid as well, just like her just leaving the old reality to for the new one. The dimension shift, like she's literally in a new dimension because she operates by new rules. Like she's not underwater anymore. She doesn't have the tail of the fish. She becomes a human, and she now has to breathe differently. She has to move differently. That's basically the idea of the shift, like transformation, but into an entirely new dimension with new rules. And it's going to reflect physically, like physically. You're not in your head about this. And it's still good. It's still good. Okay. So we have, I'm going to show you firstly what it says about this. So there's the Ten of Swords, which is like end of the cycle, end of the chapter, close the book, get the fuck out of here. We're done with that. We're not looking back. Look at that. Do you want to go back to this? No, you don't. Because you have this now. Why would you go back to the backstabbers when you got justice? You got justice, bitch. You got justice, baby. Here. I'm talking about. I love this for you. You listen. We got the Ace of Pentacles again. So I'm telling you, like, you are on a whole new level. You are in a whole new world where like the rules that applied to you before don't even make sense now. You can't even do that. These rules where you had to work to survive in misery. You had to work to survive in this. It wasn't going anywhere. You just kept working. You just stayed here. You worked. You stayed here. No, the universe said no. You said no. Let alone the universe. You said no, and the universe said that's what I was looking for. This is the future that's here for you now. This is what you're building, kind of like building from, right? So you started before the shift kind of stripping all the layers, stripping, making sure that now you're bare bones naked, vulnerable to the universe, open to anything, right? But not even in a like naive way, right? You maintained your innocence, but you're no longer naive, right? You're woke. That's what we're on here for this particular channel. We're woke, right? But the beginning before the shift, it was just you stripping, and trying to build something in its place, but not being able to see the thing that you're building be reflected in its totality. You might see it in people, places here and there, but you didn't see it whole for yourself until the shift happened and you were able to feel the difference, right, of the layers being gone. And now what you're like building from that is because of you building from a different frequency entirely. But it's not necessarily you building. I'm trying to say you're like unfolding into this new reality. So like everything that you've built is there. You are building at the same time as you dismantling within yourself. You are building. You're taking this one, replacing this with this one. See if that doesn't work. Take something else. And then you thought maybe I should make something myself. You just keep going and going, and now it's here for you. And you're just going to kind of collapse. It's collapse, fall into the timeline, like falling on a freshly warm bed, or like a cozy soft bed in a warm room. You just fall. That's how your life is going to be. It's just soft and easy and just flowing. After all this hard work that you were not even intentionally doing or consciously doing or even wanting, because we said with the other one, you got the Four of Cups where you might just be entirely dissatisfied by it. You said, mm-mm, mm-mm. And the universe said, no, yes, you're right, no. It's time for you to rest, bitch. Sleep, sleep. Stop working. Stop it. You might have even gotten sick. I got sick from doing all that work. I got so sick. And the universe said, not my child. But anyway, so now you're navigating this. Moving forward, it's gonna like the energy that will help is obviously resting. You gotta rest. Please, I'm begging you. You know this is where you come from. You know this is what you're unlearning. The only way you can really, really, really root it in your body, make your body feel that it's not necessary anymore, is resting. I'm not even forcing you. I'm not even going to judge you if you don't, but I dare you to rest. Watch. And then what's going to happen is like, I believe that a lot of the frequency that we're trying to obtain is actually who we were as children before all the conditioning. And so much of it is going to feel reminiscent of when you were a child, or it's going to feel nostalgic, right? You might even have periods where like you randomly remember a certain innocence or childlike passion, joy from when you were a kid, and now it feels kind of the same, but even more potent, even more conscious, even more intentional. Yeah, this is how I see it. And it's more now like you see now there's two people, one giving the flower to the smaller one. It's like you are giving your inner child, even might be your actual child if you do have one, but your inner child the gift of joy, abundance, life, refreshment, right? Being able to be seen. That's the gift. That child can now be seen and loved and even appreciated. And the Queen of Cups really helps you navigate this because it's very emotional terrain, right? It doesn't mean the negative emotions stop. It's more like they don't cause you to collapse. You won't feel like you're dying every time you have a negative or painful emotion or difficult emotion. Not only are you emotionally resilient, but you're also intelligent, right? So you don't make yourself small just because of, other people's feelings. You allow yourself to take up that emotional space. You allow yourself to flow within dynamics that are emotionally charged, but more than anything, because of the sensitivity, you're now very receptive. And the universe really loves receptivity, right? Because it means that you are open to, you're using your attention to be open, right? You're not focusing specifically on anything per se, which is also what's going to help you with the creativity that I mentioned, that divine, will to act, that divine inspiration is going to be very well matched by a sensitivity, by a receptivity, because then the universe gives you downloads and you use those downloads to express because you're not looking for them, but you're exploring. And the exploration needs the openness, needs the sensitivity, right? But then now you're even strong enough to explore places that you thought you'd never be able to because you dismantled the chokehold that fear has over you. You are not just a spiritual warrior, but you are a in the realm of spiritual mastery. You are in the realm of conscious evolution. And if nobody has told you today, I'm gonna tell you, not only am I fucking proud of you, but I know that you got this, and I know that you're about to have a hella amazing time. And you did that. Let me clap for you. Hold on. You did that. This is you now. This is you, my dear lover. You did that. You did that. I'm happy. Okay.